Do you know how every place has its own unwritten rules? Like, for instance, in Chicago, you just don't put ketchup on a hot dog. And in Florida, you just don't swim in random ponds. Well, here in Southwestern Indiana, we have our own list of things too. Things you just don't do if you want to fit in, stay safe, or avoid becoming the story everyone in town talks about for the next decade. Hey everyone, my name is Kendra and welcome to our YouTube channel where we cover all things living in Southwestern Indiana. From neighborhoods, home tours, local events, and small town living, and everything in between, we cover it all right here. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and let's jump right in. So today we are switching it up with things just a little bit different. We are talking about things not to do in Southwestern Indiana. Whether you're new to the area, just visiting, or maybe you've even lived here your whole life, there's a good chance you'll learn something new, or maybe at least laugh, remembering the time that you did one of these things I'm going to list. So I've lived here and worked in this community for many years, actually my whole life. From Evansville to Mount Vernon, Newburgh, Posey County, all of those small towns in between. And let me tell you, there are some things that you only learn the hard way around here. Think of this kind of as your inside guide, or, part humor, part common sense, and part, honestly, public service announcement. So before we jump in, let's get our bearings for anyone who may be new around the area. Southwestern Indiana sits right along the Ohio River, and it's tucked in between Illinois and Kentucky. It's a mix of farmland, small towns, college campuses, river views, and some of the most genuine people you will ever meet. But it's also a place where the weather can change in like 5 minutes. The back roads can get you lost in an absolute heartbeat. And yeah, even the GPS will occasionally just basically give up and be like, you're on your own. So today we're going to go through this region's biggest do not do's, from practical stuff on like how not to drive to cultural things and how to not act like an outsider. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to blend in, stay safe, and enjoy everything that Southwestern Indiana has to offer without embarrassing yourself or ending up in a ditch, maybe outside of Wadesville. Okay, so don't ignore the time zone. Okay, let's start with this one because it's one of the most confusing parts about living in Southwestern Indiana. It's the time zone. And if you're new here, it might sound so simple, but you're probably thinking, it's Indiana, so we're on Eastern time, right? Well, not exactly. Here's the scoop. Indiana has a bit of a complicated history with time zones. And down here in the southwestern corner of Indiana, it's a pretty hot topic at the family dinner table. Trust me. If you're in southwestern Indiana, which includes Posey, Vanderburgh, and Warwick counties, you're actually on Central Time, which is CST. That means if you're living anywhere from Mount Vernon, Evansville, Newburgh, Boonville, you're in the same time zone as places like Chicago, Nashville, but not Indianapolis. It's one of those fun quirks that catches people off guard all the time, especially if you've just moved here or you're planning events with folks from other parts of the state. So, for example, you might call someone up in Indianapolis to schedule a 10 a.m. meeting and realize halfway through that you're an hour off. Or maybe you have family visiting from the east side of the state who can't figure out why the sun seems to set an hour earlier here. And even your phone and GPS can get confused near the county lines. You'll look down and your clock will randomly move an hour forward or an hour back. And that's exactly the kind of chaos you don't need when you're trying to get kids to practice on time. Here's the rule of thumb. Don't assume that all of Indiana runs on the same time. Definitely you need to double check your phone, your car, your calendar. And if you're planning something with someone that's outside of the area, you definitely want to ask if they're running on Central or Eastern time. It might sound small, but trust me, when it comes to showing up on time, that's a big difference between an hour before or an hour after, and being dependable and being the one who never figures out what time it is. Next up, don't drive carelessly because our roads have personalities of their own. All right, let's talk about something that every local has strong opinions on. Driving in southwestern Indiana. And if you're new here, trust me, let me save you some trouble. Our roads are not for the faint of heart. Between the mix of country roads, new interstates, and farm equipment, driving here can feel like a real-life obstacle course. You've got a mix of winding roads that look straight on a map but will suddenly throw you into a blind hill or a 90-degree curve at you. You've also got gravel roads that'll rattle your car so hard you'll swear a bolt fell off. And of course, the eternal potholes in Indiana. If you've driven around Evansville after winter, you already know those potholes aren't just bumps, they are absolute craters. And somehow they always find your tire, every single time. Out here in the rural areas like Posey County, Gibson County, and even parts of Warwick, roads can get very narrow and winding, especially at night. If you don't know where you're going, it's way too easy to end up on a one-lane road with no shoulder and a deer staring right at you, looking at you like you're the one who's lost. And speaking of deer, yeah, definitely don't underestimate them either. Especially around harvest season or early mornings, they will straight pop up out of nowhere. Pro tip, if you see one cross, there's probably 2 more right behind it, so make sure to slow down and keep your eye out. And I'm not exaggerating when I say they can do some serious damage. I've seen broken windshields, crumbled hoods, and full-on wrecks from deer collisions. It happens so fast and it is no joke, especially on dark rural roads. And then there's the farm equipment. Big combines, tractors, wagons, they all share the road. And honestly, farming is what makes our community so great. Indiana ranks among the top 10 agricultural states in the entire country, with nearly 2/3 of our land being used for farming. And down here in Southwestern Indiana, agriculture just isn't an industry. It's truly a way of life. So when you see a combine crawling down Highway 62 at, 20 miles an hour or so, just take a breath, slow down, and remember that the farmer's hard work is what keeps food on our tables and drives our local economy. Definitely don't tailgate. Try to whip around them or on a blind curve, and definitely don't lay on your horn. Around here, that's not just rude, it's absolutely dangerous. And honestly, the same goes for school buses. Small towns take those flashing red lights very seriously. Don't be that person who tries to sneak by, because word travels fast around these communities, and trust me, you'll be on Facebook before you even make it home. And let's not forget about the weather. Southwestern Indiana weather can go from sunny to sideways in a matter of minutes. Rain, floods, low spots fast. Ice hits bridges before the rest of the road, and fog can roll in off the river and make it impossible to see past your headlights. And when it really gets bad, you'll know because school will definitely be canceled. Around here, road conditions are a big deal for our school systems. If the back roads freeze, flood, or fog over, buses can't safely make their routes, and that's an automatic delay, an e-learning day, or even a cancellation. So if the weather looks sketchy, you might as well just plan for a slow morning. So here's the bottom line. Don't drive carelessly just because it's a small town area. The roads here can surprise you, and not in a good way. Take it slow, watch for wildlife, wave at the tractors, and for the love of your suspension, try to miss the potholes. So up next, don't underestimate the weather around here because Mother Nature absolutely has mood swings in Southwestern Indiana. If you've lived here long enough, you know that this next one is so true. Don't underestimate the Southern Indiana weather because around here, it's not unusual to start your morning in a sweatshirt, switch to shorts by lunchtime, and be ducking for cover for thunderstorms before dinner time because that's just really how wild the weather gets around here. And I'm not kidding. Mother Nature truly has mood swings. Because of where we sit, right along the Ohio River, our weather changes so fast. We get humid southern air for one day and cold Midwest wind the next. And that means that everything from surprise tornado warnings to a random March snow flurry that'll have you questioning all of your life choices. In the summer, the humidity hits so hard that you'll feel like you're walking through soup. The air conditioner never stops running and your hair gives up completely and the dogs start looking for shade. But in the winter, we flip the script and it's a freezing one minute and a raining one the next. And then it ices over by the time you're ready to head to work. And let's not forget those times that it's somehow raining, snowing, and sunny all in the same hour. Spring and fall, they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but don't let them fool you because that can be tornado season. And then trust me, in the past few years, we've had our fair share. There was a tornado that tore through the west side of Evansville, flooding that hit parts of Evansville, Mount Vernon, and Newburgh, and even a storm that left me without power for over 4 days in the middle of winter. You definitely don't forget weeks like that, and neither do the people who had to clean up, check on neighbors, or sit back under blankets and wait for the lights to come back on. Flooding is another big one, especially for people who aren't used to river towns. When we get a heavy rain, some of those back roads flood fast, and if you're not from around here, you might think that you can just drive through. But do not do it. It's not worth it, and you can't tell how deep it is, and the road just might be washed out underneath the water. And every year, someone has to be rescued because they underestimated how fast that water truly does rise. Turn around, don't drown. I know it's cliche, but it's truly what you need to do. It's literally a rule that will save your life. So, when it comes to weather around here, the big don't is simple. Don't trust the forecast and don't assume that you'll have time to adjust. Keep an umbrella in your car, a coat in your trunk, and maybe a portable fan on standby, because in Southwestern Indiana, you're never more than 15 minutes away from the next surprise. Coming up, don't disrespect the local culture, because around here, small town pride runs deep. So one thing you'll learn about here is that Southwestern Indiana, the people take a lot of pride in their communities. This is the kind of place where folks still wave when they pass you on a country road, or where your waitress probably knows your cousin, and where the high school football games is truly the biggest event in town on a Friday night. So you definitely don't want to be the person that's disrespecting the local culture. And around here, people work hard, they look out for one another, and they genuinely care about their schools, churches, and neighborhoods. If there's a fundraiser, a fish fry, or a chili bowl happening, half the county shows up. And sometimes someone's barn burns down or a family needs help, the other half is there with casseroles and donation jars before the sun even sets the same day. And truly, that's just who we are around here. So when you move here or visit, there are a few don'ts to keep in mind. Don't talk down about small town life. People are proud of their roots and they like it that way. And just don't compare things to a big city. Evansville might not be Chicago or Nashville, but we've got our own charm around here. Shorter commutes, friendlier people, and a slower pace that most of us wouldn't trade for anything. So don't assume you're anonymous. In small towns, word travels fast, really fast. Whether you're buying a house, volunteering for the PTO, or just grabbing groceries, chances are someone knows someone who knows you. And respect goes a long way around here. Wave to your neighbors, show up for your community events, and support local businesses, especially the mom and pop restaurants and farm markets that keep this region running. And one more thing, don't forget to say thank you. Whether it's the volunteer firefighters directing traffic at a parade or the farmer letting your kid pet a calf at the fair, appreciation matters here. And at the end of the day, Southwestern Indiana is built on community. It's what makes this place so special and why so many people move here end up staying for good. Up next, don't forget that rural living comes with its own quirks. From critters to country noises, let's talk about that next. Okay, so if you're moving to Southwestern Indiana from a big city, this next one is for you because rural living has its own rhythm, and it's one of those things that just makes our area so unique. So don't forget the quirks of country life. Out here, you might wake up to the sound of cows, roosters, or a tractor instead of morning traffic. And honestly, most of us wouldn't trade that for the world. But if you're not used to it, there are a few surprises that are probably coming your way. First off, being the wildlife. So deer are just the beginning. We've got raccoons, possums, coyotes, wild turkeys, frogs, and yeah, even snakes. And they all like to remind you who was here first. If you leave your garage door open too long and a raccoon might make himself at home. Leave your trash can out overnight and you'll walk up to a crime scene that looks like a midnight buffet. During the summer, the frogs and crickets will sing to you to sleep. And sometimes right through it, if you live near farmland, you'll probably hear a crop duster flying overhead before sunrise or a combine finishing up harvest after dinner. So don't mistake country quiet for total science. It's peaceful, but it's still alive with sound. Then there are the bugs. Mosquitoes, gnats, mayflies, they all come out to say hello in the summer. And if you're planning an evening bonfire, bring the bug spray and maybe 3 extra citronella candles. And a pro tip, porch lights attract everything but the angels. So keep those off unless you want a front row seat to a bug circus. Another thing, rural living moves slower. And that's not a bad thing. The internet might not be as fast, the mail may take a little longer, and the nearest Target may be a 25-minute drive. But that slower pace is what people love about our area. And it's time to breathe, relax, and enjoy what's around you, like the sunsets over the fields, kids playing ball in the yard, or just sitting on the porch with a sweet tea and hearing absolutely nothing but crickets. And don't worry, after a few months, you're going to start to recognize the hum of the grain dryer, the smell of fresh cut hay, and the sound of your neighbor's tractor like it's the soundtrack of home. But don't think the small town life means you're missing out. Southwestern Indiana still offers a ton of big city perks, just on a smaller, more manageable scale. Evansville's east side has tons of shopping restaurants, including Eastland Mall, home to several major brands and department stores. And if you're looking for nightlife, Franklin Street has you covered with local favorites like Six Strings and Bud's Rockin' Country Bar and Grill, plus seasonal events and festivals that always draw a crowd. You get that fun social energy without the big city headaches. So the don't here is simple. Don't come here expecting big city life. Come ready to slow down, appreciate the peace, and embrace the quirks that make Southwestern Indiana such a special place to live, where you can enjoy a small town morning and still grab dinner and live music that night. Up next, don't overlook how important safety and preparedness are, especially when you live outside of the city. All right, this one might not sound as fun, but it is really important. Don't overlook safety and preparedness. One thing people don't always realize when they move to Southwestern Indiana, especially when they're from the bigger cities, is that rural life means that you have to be a little bit more self-sufficient and prepared. In the city, if something goes wrong, help is usually just a few minutes away. But out here, you might be 15 or 20 minutes from the nearest fire station or emergency response team. That doesn't mean that we're necessarily unsafe, it just means that it's smart to plan ahead. Keep a flashlight, extra batteries, and a few gallons of water handy. If there's one thing we've all learned, it's that power outages happen, especially after ice storms or heavy winds. I mentioned earlier the ice storm left me without power for over 4 days, and I can promise you, a generator or backup heat source suddenly feels like the best investment ever. And when it comes to weather, always take alerts seriously. We're in an area that sees tornadoes, flash flooding, and strong storms, and those warnings aren't just suggestions. Keep a weather radio or an app with alerts on your phone, and know where your safe spot is in your home. And another thing that surprises newcomers is how communication can be limited in rural areas. Cell service can be spotty on back roads, and if a storm takes down power lines, your Wi-Fi isn't going to help much. That's where neighbors come in, and that's one of the best things about living around here. People check on each other. If someone's driveway hasn't been cleared after an ice storm, or you haven't been seen in a few days, odds are someone's going to stop by and give you a call and make sure you're okay. And that sense of community, it's one of the best safety nets you can have. So here's the don'ts for this section. Don't assume that living outside the city means that you can just wing it, because out here, preparedness is definitely a part of daily life. Whether it's keeping an emergency kit in your car, filling up your gas tank before a snowstorm, or making sure your phone's charged before bad weather hits. You definitely don't have to panic, you just need to plan ahead. Because when the lights go out or the roads flood, you'll be definitely glad that you did. Up next, don't ignore how much there is to do here, because Southwestern Indiana has a lot more going on than most people realize. Okay, we've talked about the weather and the roads and all the quirks that make Southwestern Indiana unique. But here is something that people always get wrong when they first hear about this area. So don't assume that there is nothing to do here. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, there's just not much going on in Southwestern Indiana. And I have to just laugh, because clearly they haven't explored all the possibilities around here. There's actually so much to do here. You just have to know where to look. So let's start with the Ohio River. On a summer weekend, it is packed full of people boating, tubing, jet skiing, and just hanging out on the sandbars. It's like a little vacation spot right in our backyard. And when it's time for fireworks, Evansville puts on one of the best riverfront shows around, right from a barge in the middle of the water on the Ohio. If you're more to staying on land, there's plenty to do for you too. Evansville's downtown and Haney's Corner areas have been growing fast. They're full of restaurants, coffee shops, boutiques, and even art events. And then there's Franklin Street, which is basically like the heartbeat of Evansville's west side. You've got some fun local spots like Six Strings and Buds, tons of restaurants and community events here all year long. But let's be honest, what's the biggest highlight of Franklin Street? The West Side Nut Club Fall Festival. It's one of the largest street festivals in the entire country, drawing hundreds of thousands of people every single year. And this year, the half pot alone reached over $2 million, which means a ton of money given back to our community. Between the food booths, rides, and the parade, it's one of those events that truly shows how strong our community is. For families, there's always something going on, from Mesker Park Zoo to parks and splash pads, local festivals in Mount Vernon and Newburgh. There's no shortage of ways to make memories close to home. And for those who love the outdoors, we've got tons of trails and recreation areas. Places like Harmony State Park near New Harmony, Burdette Park in Evansville, and Scales Lake in Boonville offer camping, swimming, hiking, biking, and all within a very short drive. If golf is your thing, Southwestern has you covered there too. Courses like Cambridge, Oak Meadow, Western Hills Country Club offer scenic views and challenges for every skill level. And really, that's just the thing about Southwestern Indiana. It might not have skyscrapers or pro sports teams, but it definitely has heart. There's always something happening, and usually it's the kind of thing that brings people together. Whether you're cheering at a ball game, shopping at the farmer's market, or just sitting around a fire with some neighbors and friends. So don't ignore what's right here in front of you. You don't have to go far to find adventure, connection, and community. Coming up next, don't forget to support local, because that's what keeps this community thriving. So if there's one thing that truly defines Southwestern Indiana, it's definitely community. And that's why this next one is so important. Don't forget to support local. The people who own the small businesses, restaurants, and shops around here are your neighbors. They are the ones that are sponsoring your kids' sports teams, donating to the school fundraisers, and volunteering at local events. When you eat at a local mom and pop diner, shop at a local boutique, or hire a hometown contractor, you're not just getting great service, you're keeping money right here in our community. Evansville, Mount Vernon, and Newburgh each have their own local gems that are worth bragging about. You've got local coffee shops like Honeymoon Coffee, incredible eats like Haagen Sauce in Mount Vernon for some of the best barbecue you'll ever try, and family favorite spots like JB's Barnyard, where you can grab locally made ice cream and support small business that's built right here in the fabric of our community. Then there are local boutiques, antique stores, and farm markets that make weekend shopping feel like a community event. Stop by a farmer's market on a Saturday morning and you will find fresh produce, local honey, homemade jams, and just half of your neighbors chatting over coffee. And it's those small businesses that give Southwestern Indiana its personality. They're the reason that our towns feel so alive. And the best part, when you shop local, you are supporting the community that supports you right back. People here remember your kindness, and they'll recommend your business, share your posts, and even show up when it matters most. And that's truly what makes this area so special. It's not just about where you live, it's about who you live among. So whether it's grabbing lunch at a family-owned restaurant, shopping downtown, or choosing a local service provider, remember, every dollar spent here helps our hometown grow even stronger. So up next, don't take this lifestyle for granted, because what we have here in Southwestern Indiana is pretty darn special. So when you live in Southwestern Indiana long enough, it's easy to forget how special the lifestyle really is. The slower pace, the friendly faces, and the small town events that truly just bring people together. Those are the things that make this place feel so much like home. You can walk into a grocery store and run into 3 people that you may know. You can drive 10 minutes and be surrounded by cornfields and quiet. And you can spend your Friday nights under the stadium lights at a football game, and your Saturday mornings at a local coffee shop or at the farmer's market. That mix of connection and calm, you just don't find that everywhere. So it's easy to overlook it, to wish for a bigger city or more options or a little less humidity in July. But really, the truth is, what we have in Southwestern Indiana is something that people in a lot of places are missing: a genuine sense of community. This is the kind where people still show up for each other, the kind where local business owners know your name, and the kind where families grow up surrounded by good schools, safe neighborhoods, and people who actually care about you. We've got beautiful scenery, a strong schools, great food, and endless community pride, but it's the people that truly make it special. So definitely don't take it for granted. Don't forget to appreciate the little things, the summer festivals, the way the sunset hits the fields, the smell of the rain after a storm, or the familiar faces that always seem to show up when you need them the most. Because when you step back and look at all of it, you'll realize that really there's no place like Southwestern Indiana. I'm Kendra with the Angel Team, and I just want to thank you so much for watching and being a part of what makes this community so great. If you're looking to move to the Evansville, Indiana area, I would love for you to reach out and answer your questions and see if this is a good fit for you. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, because we are posting weekly content on all things living in Southwestern Indiana, and I don't want you to miss it. So, thanks so much for watching. We will see you next time.